What is going on, everybody? Here we are, another Thursday night on the grind. We are supposed to be getting Mr. Val Vargas on here tonight. He is in the build off and he is agreed to come live with us tonight. But let's wait for him to get here. But let's go on and go and get to our sponsors for the show for tonight. And first up, man, good news from the Hell's Camp. Hellspeedshop.com, some of the coolest, best flannels, t-shirts, hats that money can buy. It looks like they just actually um, opened up their own storefront, man, and I'm excited about it. Get over to hellspeedshop.com and check them out and check out with them on all the social media platforms at Hell's Speed Shop. And remember, hellspeedshop.com. Next up tonight is our good friends over at Jade Affiliated, and that's jadeaf.com for some of the most badass wheels in the motorcycle industry. You can actually get all sizes, custom cuts. The guy makes so much stuff, it's not even funny. You got to get over to jadeaf.com, order you up some wheels, or check them out on any of the social media platforms at Jade Affiliated on all the social media platforms. Next up is American Drag Seats, AmericanDragSeats.com. You need a custom motorcycle seat, factory Harley replacement seats, custom recovers. You send us a pan, we'll foam it, we'll cover it. You have a stock seat you want recovered, we can do it, or you can bring your bike to us and we will make the seat pan and foam it and cover it specifically the way you want it. Check us out at AmericanDragSeats.com or check us out on all the social media platforms of American Drag Seats. Next up, our good friends over at Urban Rides Magazine, urbanridesmagazine.com. Probably one of the best magazines in the industry. Jason Silman and Daniel Roby put together a killer magazine. Great articles, great pictures. Everything about them is awesome. You can check them on all the social media platforms, and you can go to Daniel Roby's page, and he's always going live to all the rallies that we don't all get to go to. But Daniel goes to him, and he's always there for us. So go check him out at urbanridesmagazine.com and check him out on all your social media platforms. And then last, but definitely not least, our good friends over at hopkins-design.com. You need a website, you need logos, banners, print, designs, anything you could possibly need. Earl has it. Earl can do it. He does all of the grinds, social, all the grinds websites. He does American Drag Seats website. He's done Orion Metalworks websites, and he's got a whole list of clients that he's done websites for. So if you need a website, go check him out at hopkins-design.com. Well, all right, everybody. So tonight we have a very special guest in the house, Mr. Val Vargas. And the name of the company is Screaming Sounds Texas. So everybody say hello to Mr. Val Vargas.
What up?
What's happening, Captain?
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Let me see if that changes. I got to turn my volume down. Hold on. It's getting some kind of little bit of feedback.
Let me see.
Do you have an earpiece in, or is it just your?
No, just me on my phone.
Okay. Well, we will work with that.
Okay.
Let me see if I can turn my volume up a little bit. Where's my volume? There it is, right there. All right, let's go there. All right, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. So, man, it's good to meet you. It's good to meet you in person now on the show. But I've been digging through your pictures and all your stuff, and I read a little bit of the stuff that you sent me. Dude, you don't look old enough to have been doing all that stuff.
Well, it's funny. My wife tells me that all the time, and she is like 17 years younger than I am. So I guess I did good, or I'm doing good. So
17 years younger than you?
yeah. Yeah.
Is she
So I
21?
won't reveal my age today, but yeah, I'm not as young as I look.
Well, I guarantee you're still younger than me. Uh,
Probably.
so tell me, how did you get started in this whole customizing game? I know it wasn't with bikes, was it?
No, actually, so my dad had a customizing shop growing up, and then I kind of went and did my thing, went to college, did the whole engineering thing, and I always did this kind of as side money. And then I got an opportunity in California to do some stuff with some cars, and started doing that with a bunch of old classic cars. So I was chopping tops, I was doing air ride, custom paint jobs. I've had a few vehicles already featured in magazines. Even one of them ended up in Japan. That was a really cool rat rod that I built back in 2011. So,
Yeah, right on.
but yeah.
so, so how did you get started into motorcycles then? If you were already that deep into the cars,
So I had a friend who bought a Harley, and he it had some, I don't know, some boo boo audio on it, and he's like, "Man, you make good sound systems for cars. Can you help me out with my bike?" And I said, "Yeah, let's take a look." And that kind of was the beginning of it. And it was a 2010 Street Glide that that we did the audio on, and we worked with what he had and bought some speakers and all this stuff. And I tell you what, that bike and another bike have been kind of the bikes that have brought me the most customers. And they were the most basic bikes compared to what I do today. They were the most basic audio configurations. There was no DSP, just all done by ear tuning and that kind of stuff. But I really liked doing that kind of stuff. Like I was like, man, this is great to be able to do this on such a small platform and just produce this kind of stuff, right? And that led to other things, right? Customizing bikes and doing performance stuff. So, but that was the big kickoff.
so so would you say you're more into the audio side of building bikes, or are you like
So
all?
audio and customization of bikes right now, yeah, for sure.
So you said you went to college. You got a degree in engineering.
I did, yeah.
What field of engineering?
Mechanical engineering.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So
you're the guy. You're the guy that's out there building these power plants, laying out all that stuff, or are you more the roads and grounds?
So I used to work with natural gas engines and develop natural gas fuel systems for big engines,
Really?
for Class 8 trucks, and then I moved to a smaller division where I was doing it for Ford and doing natural gas engines for the F-150. Well, from the for the Ford Transit all the way to the box trucks, the 7.3s, and now I guess it would be the Godzilla engine. I forget what size the displacement the thing is now, but
So you're educated into this stuff.
I mean I would say I went to school and I didn't stop going. So
Well, that's good. That's good. So okay, so I have a question for you, and it's kind of going to put you on the spot, but it kind of helps me out.
sure.
How did you hear about the grind, or how did you hear about the build off? I don't know which one came first.
Actually, through Derek, um, I heard about the build off and the grind. I had actually heard through. I've seen a couple builds that were done, and I saw like a biker build off that was done, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, right? And then Derek said he was entering this thing, and I was like, oh, okay, well, shoot, maybe I should give it a shot. See what I can do if I have any worth doing this thing, right? So
So you just reached out to me and you're like, "Hey, what do I got to do?"
Yeah, I mean,
And I remember that
so
conversation because I was like, "Well, you don't have to do anything but build a bike." And I mean, at the moment, because I didn't know who you were, I was kind of
right,
like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you got to do?" But that's not what you meant. You meant, "What do I got to do to enter the competition?" And I
right.
remember that because it's the way our relationship started, and it was so funny to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I was like, is there like a buy-in? Do I gotta like show you some of the stuff that I built? Like, I mean, I don't know, as qualifications, like so.
Right. Well, I know that in 2021, or actually 2020, when I put together the National Biker Build Off, when I
Hmm.
did that one, it was a $2,500 buy in. We ended up getting 10 builders, so it was $25,000 on the table.
Wow.
And it and a lot of people tried to talk me into doing a buy-in on this one this time. But I
Right,
was like, I didn't want the I wanted it to be as raw
right,
and pure as I could possibly get it, because the last time we did it, all of those builders were great builders. Even the one or two that ended up, just I I cut ties with. Um, but to have people at that point, it was more like, okay, well, if you think you're badass, put money like you're gambling. You know what I'm saying?
right,
This
right,
time, I'm doing it more for I want to see what builders can bring to the table when they have nothing to lose. You have zero out of pocket expense to be in this other than your build. So some people
right.
have customers that are paying for the build. Some people, like my son, he's building a bike just for himself. And then you got other builders that are building bikes just for themselves. So it's a good mix of people building for customers and then just building for the true art of just building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and and first of all, thank you, for entering it. Thank you for supporting it. I really do appreciate that. Um, are there any builders that you're kind of looking up to or kind of concerned with what they're going to build?
I'm not concerned. I just I'm excited to see what people can come up with, right? I've
Right.
seen what all the builders have done with other customers' bikes, with their bikes, so I'm excited to be part of that journey,
Yeah.
right? And I've got some crazy stuff that I'm going to bring to the table, and hopefully the community likes it. Hopefully, if not, like, I mean, either way, I'm building the bike for me because I'm at the point where I want to have a bike that says this is what I do, right? Um, because I'm tired of like I built something, then I like, oh, check out the Instagram or go check out the Facebook post or whatever. Like, it's not fun, right?
Right.
Um, I don't have the luxury of other builders that can have multiple bikes out of their shop just yet. So
Yeah.
and
Well, I
and
know.
I've only been doing this like since 22, right? This is when I really got started. So I'm I'm trying to hang in there with everybody. So
Well, yeah. So what? See, and that's the cool thing about this is that every single one of the builders that's in this show, I've not yet seen any egos. I've not seen any hate. I've not seen any, any bad talking. This group of builders seems like they're actually really kind of supportive of each other. Like, I'm excited to be a part of this with that builder. I'm excited to go against this builder. And,
yeah,
in the other build off, well, most of the build off, there's 7 build offs we've done, it always seemed like there was some type of animosity, some type of resentment, something somewhere, even if it was just very small. And
yeah,
it doesn't seem like that's part of this one.
yeah. Gotcha.
So I'm really excited to see. So, are you willing to tell us what platform you're going on?
Oh,
Road
I
King.
showed you guys the other day. I was gonna bring it out. I was gonna bring out my Street Glide Cop Edition. that I posted up on the page on the messages the other day, but I ran out of time to pull it out of the garage.
Yeah,
So obviously it's a touring bike, so we'll start with that, right?
right.
Keep the obvious obvious. I think I'm gonna go in the route of a Road King.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot you can do with Road Kings, but
yeah,
when it comes to the audio side of it, you have to be just a little more creative with a Road King
right,
because
yeah,
you don't. I mean, you could put the lower pods, but I mean, you don't have the fairing up front where you can, stage all of that. It's just
yeah,
you got to be a little more creative. But with the Road King format, you also get to do a little more metal work. You get to showcase a little more fabrication for the front end of the bike. That
yeah.
I'm still trying to see somebody fabricate. I, I want to see the Road Kings, but I also want to see the Road Glides and I want to see the
Yeah.
Street Glides because Road Glides are just like predominant. They're taking everything over and have been for years.
Oh yeah, for
Just
sure.
because there's so much real estate there for amps and for speakers and all kinds of stuff. And you've got a lot of good manufacturers out there that make really good parts.
Right.
Um, are you going to be using someone's rear end kit? Or are you going to hand fabricate one? What are you doing with all that? And I'm not trying to get
Uh,
too deep, so I just
it's gonna be all custom. So
really,
yeah. So I mean, I like everyone's rear end stuff, right?
yeah.
But I've gone to many of these audio shows and or just motorcycle events, and I'm like, same, 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 same. And I was like, there's got to be something different, right? So this is why I'm like, I hope the community accepts what I'm coming up with. So we'll see.
Well, I will say this, and I mean no disrespect to anybody that's watching the show, but you're kind of right when you have a good manufacturer like Insane Asylum, customers want to go with proven, tested products because they're spending a lot of
Yes.
money to have them built. So, but then you end up with a lot of bikes that are similar because they're using all the top quality parts.
Yes.
Um, did you know Brian? God, what's Brian's last name? Oh, I forget his last name, but he owned a company called Hatred Customs.
Mm-mm.
You never heard of him?
Mm-mm. I'll look
Okay.
him up, but yeah.
Well, I forget his last name. Someone's gonna put it in the comments. It's Brian something from Hatred Customs, and they were in Los. Uh, God dang it! I want to say they were in Arizona. But what Brian did was he never bought kits. He didn't do any of that stuff. He handmade every square inch of the fiberglass and everything on the bikes that he built. So
Yeah.
he'd build one bike this month, 2 months later, build another one. They wouldn't even remotely look like the same builder built them. They'd be just so off the wall different. But it was his bikes, in my personal opinion, that actually launched all the custom stuff that ended up getting made by all the other manufacturers because they saw because he showed you his process, which was great. Brian
Right.
Jenkins, that's right. It's Brian Jenkins from Hatred Customs. But I saw the stuff that he was building. So that, and I don't ask you that to put anybody on the spot, put you on the spot, nothing like that. But my point is it's going to be so refreshing to see because a lot of like you just said, you've seen what a lot of these builders have built in the past. So you kind of lean towards that's maybe the area they're going to stick to. But I do know there's a couple of builders in this build off, not going to say their names. They're going to bring stuff that they're not known for doing at,
Yeah.
at
I
all,
believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
you
Yep.
know. And I'm just sitting here. I'm so excited because I talked to all of the builders, just via text, phone calls, whatever.
Yeah.
And, you just talk to them because from what I understand, other than yourself, I've had at least a four anywhere from 4 to 8 year relationship with every single builder that's in this build off.
Oh wow.
And some of them it's been 10 years and even longer. But you get to see what people do. And the fact that you went to college and you're an engineer, I'm really, really excited now because I want to see what you could what your mind can think of. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have any platform or history to know what you've built.
Right. But you know what? So, the things that drive me, okay, so Cummins, right? And I'm
Mhm.
going to go off on a little kind of tangent here. So, Plessy Cummins is the guy that created the Cummins engine, okay?
Yeah,
And that guy had no greater than a sixth grade education.
right,
But he was a hell of a guy with a lathe and a hell of a guy with all these other tools. And he had just this ingenuity behind it, right? Going to school has only facilitated some of those things.
right.
Um, and I see like builders that are on this build and other guys in the past, like that their craftsmanship is just amazing. So I don't know what I'm still dabbing with some of the details that are going into this bike, but I'm excited to just put it on from paper to canvas, and to be able to write it into this event. So
So, do you actually take the time and hand draw kind of a blueprint of what you're wanting to do, or do you just fly by the seat of your pants and let it develop as you build?
so my so I'll start off with the design, and then it's ever evolving, right?
Right.
So there's the basics, and then it's just like, okay, let's build on that. Let's do on this, right? So it's always changing. So
Well, I think that happens a lot when you start building something. But
right,
one of my favorite phrases, and it's kind of a poke at somebody, and I love them to death. But I love when people say it's purpose built. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Of course, they're all purpose built. We built them for a purpose to do something, to facilitate a speaker, to facilitate speed,
yeah,
comfort, the rideability. I mean, there's always something there. But when when I talk to certain builders, you hear them say, "Okay, so I saw a customer came to the shop and they saw this bike and they want something like that."
right.
And that's where, people like Scott Owens from Insane Asylum, Scott
Mm-hmm.
Capalbo from Silent Cycles. When I see those guys, I've actually seen both of those guys' careers almost from the beginning. And I'm not talking about their personal careers, I'm talking about their products, their bagger
Right.
parts. I've almost gotten to see those parts over the last 10 or 15 years develop and evolve and grow and grow. And those two guys come to mind. And I know there's more out there. There's probably three or four more out there, very talented companies. But those two are the people that I interact with the most over the last 10 years. And to watch how they've evolved and how they've taken parts and they keep evolving and keep evolving and keep evolving. And then you got to remember, dude, one of the biggest things with these bikes is not only are they building them for, bass and for stereo systems, but if you look at the form and the shape, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot that goes into that, how it looks on the bike when you're done with the overall products. So I say all that because there's one side of the industry, which is the customers, and then there's the other side of the industry, which I'm trying to showcase here, is all of the true custom builders to see how far are they going to push the envelope? How far are they going to go with these bikes?
Yeah.
And, again, I'm going to say it again. You have an engineering degree. I cannot wait to see what your mind thinks of. And it also, are you taking any inspiration from the cars and the hydraulics and the air rides and any of that and pulling it over into the bikes?
Oh yeah. I mean. Anytime I go anywhere, I'm always looking at structures, vehicles, and I always take elements from those things, right? And I apply them to the things that I build. So
Right. Okay. So do you actually paint also?
I do.
Oh, you do. So you're going to paint your bike also?
I'm going to paint my bike also. Yeah.
So if you tell me you're going to do your seat too, I'm gonna be like, so you ain't spending no money with nobody.
So I'm not I don't have a seat guy, so I may reach out to you for that. But
That would be
I that's
awesome.
the only thing I don't do. I don't sew.
Well, that's the one thing I do do.
Yeah.
so, so getting off onto the other side of your career, how does your wife feel about the transition from corporate America or industrial America into doing the bike situation, the bike thing?
Oh, she loves it. She loves it. She gets to enjoy it. Well, we so here's the deal: is we have two little kids, right? So I have a little girl who's 2 years old, and I have a son who's four, about to be five,
Right
right?
on.
So when we go to events, it's fun, but it's also nerve wracking because she has to be the sitter, and I'm over here, trying to get
Talk to the
customers to
people and stuff like
talk to
that.
the people, and I feel for her, right? Because she's doing all that. Um, if I could switch the roles, because she's like, I want to learn how to do all that, right? And I was like, well, take it, because I bet you 100% people would come to you quicker than they would come to me, right?
So you know
But
that's it's a scary fact, but it's a very true fact. Women are more detail oriented than men are. If there were women in this industry, and if I could find enough women that wanted to do a build off, I would do an all female build off.
yeah,
Oh yeah, dude. Women hands down are more in tune with details than men are.
yeah, for sure, yeah,
So that's 30 minutes, man. It went fast, didn't it? I feel like there's
it did go quick.
so much more I want to ask you. It's so much more, but they all revolve around what you're going to build. But I
Well,
can't
it's
do
gonna
that.
have two wheels and it's gonna be cool, so
Right on.
we'll
Is
we'll
it going
leave
to
it
have
at
an
that.
engine or a motor in it?
An engine, of course. Um, I'll be the first to tell you I am not gonna plug up something unless it's to run batteries for the audio system, but I'm not gonna plug up something to make it go and drive around with no noise.
I'm so glad you got that. A lot of people don't know the difference,
Of course.
but a lot of people really don't know the difference.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, I learned it back when I was 18, 17, 18. My shop
Yeah.
teacher at auto mechanics, he educated me up real quick.
Yep.
I mean, he actually slapped me in the back of the head and said, "You're an idiot." And I was like, "What?" Because I didn't know. I mean, I was only 17, 18 years old. I didn't know the difference,
Right.
but he educated me fast on it.
Yep. Yep.
Well, cool, man. So, is there anything else your shop is doing? Are y'all in tune with any like local shows, promotions, charities, things like that?
So we Oh, sorry, my wife was telling me something. So we go. I mean, we're a vendor, right? And so we go to a lot of the Vikla events. Kind of that's the little niche that I have with some of these bikes. And if you guys are looking at my page or go check out my page, I do some really cool stuff with Softails that we put audio on them and make them sound just crazy loud. And we're talking with small speakers in a spot that never had speakers before or audio before. So and I'm not using like the the lowers out of the Rogue Lies or Road Kings or anything like that. So
So, are you making like the bedrolls?
no bedrooms, no. These so I have these Chrome speaker pods that I put on the crash bars. I just finished one this morning that I did four speakers on. So two speakers up front and two speakers in the rear crash bars. and then put a toolbox with an amplifier. And this thing also has a processor, so it's got a DSP, and they're loud. So
Right on. So,
yeah,
uh, on all your social media platforms, Uncle Bruno has already found your Facebook page, but
yep,
is it the same on all the social media platforms?
yep.
Because I want everybody to go follow this guy, look into all of his stuff, and just go keep in touch with him. Follow what he's doing. I think Val's going to be one of these guys that's just going to blow a lot of people away with what he's capable of building. Um, I've actually done a little research on you. That's how I knew some of the other stuff that we were talking about. And I think, man, a lot of people are going to quickly find out who you are. Quickly.
I'm just a quiet boy from Texas, is all I tell people.
So you're originally from Texas and then you moved to California?
Yes, sir. Yep.
How old were you when you first moved?
So I did it in my later years. So I was working at Packard Technical Center, which is the guys that do Peterbilt and Kenworth trucks, and I got the opportunity to go to California back in 2004, and then I was there for quite some time, and then I moved back to Texas. Um, but while I was there, I like just nested myself in the car culture, which is like the biggest thing that I miss compared to what Texas offers, right?
Right.
The local meet and greets are not the same. The vibes are not the same. The swap meets are not the same. I mean, the Pomona swap meet, if you ever had the chance to go, it is like a thing to see, right? So those are the things that I miss from Cali. And there's so many like networking connections there, right? Like, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this build, because I was like, I want to get to know more people, right? I'm not a guy who's gonna we'll compete, right? But at the end of the day, when all the punches have been done on the arena, I want to go have a beer with you. I want to go have fun. Let's have a good time. Let's bullshit about whatever. But I'm not that guy who is like, oh, like my information is top secret or this or that,
Right.
So
Well, that's why that's why with the I put the judging sheet up and the rule sheet up is because I want everybody to understand, what we're doing, how we're doing. If you want to post pictures and videos on the grind, you
yeah,
can. You want to post pictures and videos yourself on your own page and just tag the grind, you can. If you don't want to
yeah,
post anything and you want it to be a secret, go ahead. But I know once my son actually gets started, which he hasn't even started yet. Once he gets started, he's really good at making reels and just all that stuff that I know nothing about. That's why the show hasn't grown very much in the last 2 years because I'm not real good at the making the reels and all, that social media side of it. But he really is. But he's already said that he wants to showcase some of what he's doing, but he
right.
doesn't want to showcase all of it.
Of course, yeah, makes sense. Don't want
So
to reveal it at all. So
well, man, dude, I'm so excited and thank you so much for coming on here at the last minute. I genuinely appreciate that. If at any time from here forward, now you're part of the Grind family, if you ever want to come live, come back live, you ever want to promote something you're doing, uh, something you're making, manufacturing, or just something you're working on, just text me
yeah,
and let me know, man, and we'll bring you on live.
cool, right on.
Right. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much, man. Unless you got anything else to say, man, well, I'm gonna cut this one down.
That sounds good. That sounds great. So
Well, Val, awesome meeting you. I appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you in person in Galveston. Hopefully, maybe sooner if I end
yep.
up going up there to Fort Worth.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, man. Have a great night, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, there you go, guys. First builder, first interview. It's awesome. And I will be bringing Val back on throughout the next 4 or 5 months, getting updates and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, next Thursday night, we're going to have Mr. Derek Bolden on. to get his 30 minutes on the show and express everything that he's doing and what he's got going on. But anyway, again, please go to the GoFundMe page. There's a link on my personal page. There's a link on the Grinds page. Um, Go donate. We need the money. I'm just going to say it blatantly. We need the money for these builders. As it sits right now, we only have $2,000 in the pot. I want to try to get that to 10, 20 grand at least. So if you can't donate, share it. See if we can't get other people to get behind this. And we also are looking for corporate sponsors. But anyway, thank everybody for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you all right here next week. Thursday night, 9 o'clock.